Do you have writer's block? That's great. Watch this episode and we're going to help get you unstuck. Today, we are going to show you how journaling is a great way, well, to get unstuck and to get on to becoming an author. Hey, Francine.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great today. And, we're talking about writer's block, which a lot of people would say this is a bad thing. But I don't know about you, but I think writer's block is kind of a good thing. I take it kind of as my sign that it's time for me to slow down a little bit. And usually the best thing for me to do is to go do something I enjoy. And we're going to be talking about journaling, which is something that a lot of people do enjoy. And so if you're already doing this as a habit, we're going to give you some ideas of how this is going to help you write your book. And if it's something that you're not in the habit of doing, by the time we get done with this episode, we hope that you're going to be all excited to sit down for a little bit, 5 minutes every day, and just jot some words down on the paper. So, Francine, are you ready to take this episode away?
I am. Let's talk about why journaling.
Why?
Did you know that it clears mental clutter? It strengthens.
I've experienced that before. Yeah.
Yeah, and it strengthens the habit of self-reflection. For an author, self-reflection is important because you have to not only say how you feel, but why you feel. You got to get deeply into the feels, and if you don't reflect upon your inner core, you won't be able to do that. Free thinking. What does that make you think of, Heidi?
Free thinking?
Free thinking.
You said Free?
Correct. Free thinking. Like no rules or expectations.
I guess when I think free thinking and I sit down to an empty piece of paper, it's, just scribbling some stuff down just so it's, there.
Right, because nothing is wrong. When you're journaling,
Right.
There is no such thing as wrong. So get rid of that judgment. I remember when I wrote my first book and I wanted to tell a story, and I started thinking, do I really want to tell people that embarrassing story? But then as I journaled about it, I said, you know what? It's really not that embarrassing when you think that it might help somebody who has that same problem.
Oh, interesting. So the judge strikes again. And so basically it's bringing up these feelings of fear, of judgment. What will people think of me if this story gets out? And then, ultimately trying to protect yourself from the embarrassment or those kind of negative feelings that would go along with that if that were to happen.
Right. And talking about how I got gaslit by my dentist was embarrassing. But I feel now that that story had to come out, because how many other people are told they need thousands of dollars worth of dental work and then go get a second opinion and find out there's nothing wrong with your teeth. The dentist just wanted to sell me more crowns.
Mhm.
So I think I did a public service where more people might go get that second opinion and not trust their doctors without thought.
Yeah.
Hi,
We have a
baby.
special guest here. We got Stormy. It's gonna stormy here like in the next hour, so
I
she's gonna
hear
be
it.
on my lap.
Do I have that? No, I did have someone licking behind me, but she left.
So,
So,
with that fear of judgment when that pops up, what I'm hearing you say is that you kind of shifted from being in this survival mode and focused specifically on yourself, but then you took empathy on other people that were in that situation. And then you thought, man, I wish there would have been somebody that gave me the
right,
heads up on this stuff, because,
yeah,
I would have went for that second opinion earlier or whatever,
right.
right?
If I knew then what I know now.
Can you say that again? Because I didn't hear it for some reason. You were back.
Oh, I'm sorry. If I knew then what I know now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that I shared it with all the readers, now they know too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you fear that people are going to criticize you or are going to not be kind to you, just think about that one person whose life you're going to change by telling your story.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting too. Like, even on a much smaller scale, when you're trying to post on social media, I mean, that's telling a very, very short story. Like, sometimes it's just a picture and you put a couple words up there, very short story. But sometimes people think, what difference does it make if I post a cute picture of this little doggy right here? Well, you know what? People love seeing little doggies. It makes their day all the time, especially if they really like little doggies.
I had a friend going through mental health challenges through COVID, and she told me she just really loved watching my puppy grow up on Facebook. So you never know who you might be helping.
All right, I love that. Okay, so what else is there around writer's block and journaling?
And journaling. Now, think about your observation skills. When you're writing down, you have this freedom to write anything you want. And I already talked about emotions and digging down deeply to discover why you feel that way.
Mhm.
You're going to build that observation muscle. So when you go to write your chapter or write your book, you're going to have the skill, you're going to have that muscle already built to observe the world around you. Because what does a writer do? A writer observes the world and writes it down. That's one thing that
You
journaling helps you do.
make such a good point about that. That's one of the things that I always marvel at with some authors, is their ability to describe something in such a way that without a doubt I can picture it exactly how they intended it to be, because they are so good at paying attention to all of the little details. I'm sure as you build this skill, you become like a good detective, or maybe you'd be a good police officer too, because you'd start to notice all the little stuff that no one else
Yeah.
notices. And that's the kind of stuff that makes life interesting. It's another thing that when you slow down, you start to notice more and more of these details. And I like how you tied it into just writing down and journaling, because I have here one of my favorite books that was never published. And this is from my grandma. And every year she would just write down details of what they did that day. And it doesn't seem like anything at all, right? Like big deal. It was 89 degrees in Wisconsin, July 1st, 1989. You can look that stuff up on the internet now. You can see those kind of facts. But what I didn't know was going on July 1st, 1989 is that my grandma and grandpa made some berry jam, which I'm sure that I enjoyed, because later on that weekend, it says that Janet, my mom, and them were coming to visit. So I'm sure I had some of that delicious jam. I was 9 then, by the way. And so anyway, anytime I miss my grandma, I just pulled this open to the date, and I've got 3 years of her life that I can look at, and it brings me closer to her. And I think she knew that her journals were going to get passed down to the grandchildren after she had passed away. And even though she never really wrote any kind of like personal thoughts, it was just all observations. It gives me a glimpse into what her life was like. And it's so much different than mine. It's so much simpler. And I mean, I think even with something like this, I could write a little short book about my grandma and be able to introduce some of my own memories about her, just because she left me with those clues.
I like that, clues. But you know what? While you were talking, I had a thought. You were talking, and I didn't want to interrupt, and I lost that thought.
Oh,
Have you ever had a fleeting thought like that just poof goes away? Well, shouldn't I have written that down in my journal so I could remember it later?
Well, I mean, I have a work journal like that too, where as I'm doing notes with clients and stuff, I'll just scribble down some stuff, and then it goes in order. So I can just go back, and it's just some little random notes here and there sometimes. But like you said, sometimes it's, oh, we're talking about something I didn't want to interrupt. So I'll write that kind of stuff down. And that is a different kind of journaling. But when it comes to keeping track of your business stuff, if journaling through your business day is not something that you do, try it. And that's even cool, Francine, because you can look back and be like, last year, this time, what was I working on?
I love going through, I write a lot of speeches for Toastmasters. I love finding random old notebooks and seeing what I did 8, 10 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, I was angry. Boy, have I come a long way. And it's really great to go back and see how much you've grown and how different you are. And that's why I like to say that writing a book is very cathartic, and it will bring stuff out of you that you never knew needed to come out.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely agree with that. And um, sometimes it's difficult to work through that kind of stuff. It's something I use journaling for a lot when I'm really stuck and I'm really feeling very emotional. Sometimes I'll just sit down with the blank page, and like you were talking about earlier, I'll just say, okay, judgment, go over there. Somehow, like, everything that's swirling around in my brain has to get put down on this paper somewhere. And it's not always straight in the lines.
No.
Sometimes it's a little note I wrote up over here, and sometimes I'll just be doodling some shapes. I cannot draw much more than stick people, so this is the kind of like little doodles we have on the side of the paper. But I'll do that, and I'll just stare off into space for a while, and suddenly a thought will come to my head, and I'll just write it down. And gosh, that kind of little clues, going back to clues again, I use that stuff all the time when I'm songwriting and I'm in a writer's block. Because what makes a better song than when you're like stuck in the angst of a moment, right? So if I'm in a really great mood and I'm all happy, but I'm trying to write a song that's not so happy, I can revisit some of these times and really kind of see where I was at then, what was I feeling in that moment, and then be able to capture those moments in the story with the right details so that it makes it easy for you to picture it.
Yeah. And speaking of trying to overcome, I had writer's block writing my second children's book. And the reason I had writer's block is because the topic I chose just didn't sit well. And I had no idea why. I just knew it didn't sit well. I wanted to write about some kid who was shy and help her come out of her shell. But every time I tried to write that, it went against every fiber in me, because my mantra is you're great just the way you are. But now I'm telling you to change, that you need to be less shy. So I wrote about that, and that it took me probably 12 pages to figure out that's what was stopping me. That I was telling kids to be something they're not, and I couldn't, the universe held my pen, so I couldn't write that. And I figured that out. Then I had a conversation with Dr. Smiley. If you didn't see that episode, we need to link that to this episode, the episode with Dr. Smiley. I was talking about him, and he is a 12-year-old. And he said, what kids really need to know is that it's okay to shine, because these middle schoolers or pre-middle schoolers don't want to stand out. They want to blend in. And that's what my second book is about now, on letting your sparkle shine. Well, if you think about that as writers, as a songwriter, or writing my chapter from aircraft electrician for the military to children's book author, what are we doing? We're letting our sparkle shine. Right?
Love that. So I just want to say hey to Evie out there that left us a comment saying that she loves journaling. I just put right back in the comments to you, why do you think you enjoy journaling? Love to hear from you on that. So if you want to reply to that, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So speaking of like that question, why do you think you enjoy journaling? And for me, I think my favorite part of journaling is that it helps me tap into my imagination, which is, I don't know, something that like as soon as you become an adult, everybody's like, grow up, stop using that. Like that was there for when you were a kid. Like, what are you doing talking about unicorns and stuff?
Have you ever heard of your inner child?
No, apparently not. So what I like doing, and we just came out with it was an event last month, and it was to help you get started with writing. So just what we're talking about in this episode. But one of my favorite journaling things to do, and you're going to find this prompt within the course, is the perfect day exercise. And so what I'll do is, let's just use today. Today's Tuesday. So on the perfect Tuesday, what would today look like? You know, maybe the maid stops by today and cleans the house. And right now I've got my
that'd be great.
Preparing dinner. A very healthy dinner that I did not have to figure out what it was or like how to put it together. And it smells great right now, by the way. It's amazing. And So you could just freestyle like this. And I'm going to tell you that if you feel like trying to write this stuff down, it just doesn't flow as much at first. There's cool stuff on our phones, like just speak it into your phone and go with it and have fun with it. Like I said, if you want to have some pet unicorns in the backyard, go ahead and write that into your perfect day that you went out and you fed the unicorns after 10. That is totally cool. And the reason you want to do that is because in your imagination, there is no shortage of resources. And what happens is our judge gets involved and it's like, you don't have all that money. You don't have that house. And no, unicorns are not real. And then all of a sudden your inner child's like, fine, I'll just go back to my cage. And then you wonder why you kind of feel upset underlying everything all day long. So this is a chance for you to play with your inner child, play with the things that you really want to experience in life. And this helps your brain in those moments where you're like, gosh, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. This is my only two options. Well, that's when your imagination really comes in handy. And if you have this habit, which you're going to build up by using journaling every day, it helps you become more resilient. It helps you think outside of the box and problem solve a lot faster. And it helps you shut down that judge voice that's telling you that you're not good enough, that people are going to judge you, and all of those other fears that keep you in writer's block.
Well, and you know what else? It's just for you. It's something you do just for you. You're not doing it for your family. You're not doing it for your boss or your kids. You are doing it just for you. And sometimes that alone is healing.
Yeah, for sure. And when you grasp these concepts about yourself, it becomes far easier to work with other people because you begin to understand that we're all human and we all kind of feel the same. And so with that kind of empathy and understanding, putting together a story that has impact as an author, all of the process becomes a lot easier because you have a much clearer picture of what people need to hear because you've lived through that experience and you've written down what you kind of worked through to get through that experience. And that has so much value to people that are stuck back where you were when that story started.
And you know what the greatest thing about a collaboration book is? You're not doing it by yourself. You're doing it with a community, a team. So when one of your team members reads your story and says, oh my God, this is great, I felt this way too, it gives you validation that what you're doing is right. Because when I wrote my solo book, I sent it to an editor first thinking, yeah, the editor is going to tell me it's a bunch of crap, just get rid of it. But she said, oh, no, this is good. I'd add a little more here and I'd change a little bit there. Well, if you join a collaboration, you have a team doing that with you and for you.
Yeah, and I think also it helps to be seeing and reading other people's stories as you're developing your own, because as you hear other people talking about it, that's going to spark ideas or little improvements that you could make. And you wouldn't have those insights otherwise if you were doing it on your own. And besides that, you might have like a coach or something like that. So that's one person. So in a bigger collaboration like this, we're talking 50 people. 50
and an editor. And an editor.
And an editor. So that is some good reassurance.
Yes.
So you could just take that judge and be like, yeah, you can be quiet now.
Exactly. We'll tell you if it's not good, and then we'll help you make it better.
And you know, sometimes the fear isn't about writing. I mean, I could write all day long, but why have I not published a book? Well, because of the part that comes after the book is done.
Yes.
Like
The hard
I
part.
don't know the first thing about actually publishing a book. So I'm so excited to be involved in this collaboration because, I mean, I'm learning right along with the rest of you. And I'm just following with Francine and Dr. Smiles, and I can be confident that something's going to happen with the stuff that I do. It's not just going to join the shelf with a bunch of stuff that I have laying there that hasn't been used for anything yet.
Oh, let's talk about the second 6 months of this program. We get our book published. It's up on Amazon. It's an international bestseller. We're going out signing books. The program doesn't end there. We are going to get help going on each other's podcasts. If you don't have a podcast yet, that's okay. Come on mine. We will help you be more visible as an author, a singer, artist, a potter, whatever you do. We will help you become more visible so you can sell more of your artwork. Because when people see you in this collaboration book and they read your chapter, they're going to want to see your Etsy. They're going to want to look at your website. They're going to be looking for you in your in galleries. So just think about the next level for whatever artistic project you're doing when people really know your name.
That's right. And I wanted to just say that I posted the link for people to join the collaboration. When you join us, it's going to be a weekend in Jacksonville, Florida. We are going to have so much fun, and there's going to be photo and video evidence of it. Everyone will be quite jealous that they missed it.
At the Embassy Suite.
Yes.
We're not skimping on this. At the Embassy Suite. Okay, I am also posting our community. If you join, if you already belong to our community, go to, what's the section I put that link in?
What?
Go to the announcements in our community, and you could get a sample of 5 journaling prompts to get you started. If you're not in our community yet, please join our community, go to the announcements, and get your free PDF with your 5 journaling prompts and start writing.
And also, once you get in the community, up at the top, there is a tab that says courses. And when you click on that, it's going to take you to that Believe You Can Start course that I was talking about with the exercise for the perfect day, plus a whole lot more. We're going to be talking in there about good or bad. Is it good or bad? Or who really knows if it is good or bad? And we're going to be talking about more ways that you can tell that judge that he is not needed right now because we are playing in our imagination. So I am going to post a link that actually goes directly to the course page, which you can sign up for the community through there and be right on the product page. So that's more of a direct shot if you want to go ahead and get started. Yeah.
And you could buy all of these things individually. A journal of 29 questions, the Inner Child, Connect with Your Inner Child course, the Get Started Writing course, or you could join the year-long program and it's all included.
Ooh, yes, I like all included.
Yes, all included. And guess what? We are thinking of cool things to continue adding to this. So what's there now is only a small piece of what will be available over the course of the next several months. Because as we learn more, because face it, we're still learning. As we learn more, we share more.
That's right. And, this isn't any big major production right now. Part of what we want to show you is when you get started, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to look the best. It's not going to be the best thing you ever wanted. Joanna and I could barely get on and stream when we started this, right?
Right?
So we've got some upgrades going on. We're always upgrading stuff a little bit. So it's all about just doing the least amount of effort to just get started, because many times as soon as you do, it just unlocks that block that the judge put up there in front of you, and you'll just tumble right along into your creativity and you'll be off along your way.
Just remember, perfect isn't required, but learning the process is.
Oh yes, that's very good. All right, so if you can conceive it, you can believe it, and you can achieve it. So from the
head to the heart
to the hands. Oh, yes. You can. All right, you guys, we will see you guys over at the community. Posts and reflective questions there every day. And we cannot wait to collaborate with you on this book project.